Hey everybody. So it's been probably about a week since I've made the last video. Kind of been trying to do it, but it's just been a little busy, and on the days that I'm available to do it, sometimes I just don't feel comfortable because those are the days that I usually don't shave, because those are like my days off, and I just like to not shave sometimes. So yeah, I didn't shave today or anything. I didn't wear much makeup, but it's dark, so not doing it on my phone this time. And it's a little bit grainy, and I'm probably not picking up well now because the air conditioner is going, which we put in today because it's way too hot. And so, anyways, on to what I'm going to actually talk about. Made some more progress. I know I talked about the fingerprints, and that's what I actually had done this past week, which was kind of strange. Actually had to, I don't know if everybody has to do it this way or not. I know some people don't even have to get their fingerprints done and have a court hearing. So, but I wonder how many people actually have to go, like, to the prison, because that's kind of where I had to go. Went to the prison, and they like took me into what was, I guess, like the processing area where they like bring in the new inmates. So you like walk in, and there's like this cage in front of you, and there's like a really small room, and lucky for me I was the first one there. Like no one else was there when I showed up, and I only had to wait for like a minute with somebody else. And it was kind of weird because, like I said, it's like this small area, and so when you're like this awkward girl, you're just like, get me out of here, and there's nowhere you can't even like leave because they have you locked in. You have to buzz yourself out. So I was in there, and then they take you into another room which opens up into the big area where they have like the holding cells, and there was like inmates sitting in chairs, and like there's inmates in the holding cells, and I'm like walking past, and they're just like leaning against their windows, just like staring at me. So that was kind of interesting. But, you know, I went there, and they were actually really nice. At first, they didn't really know what they were doing because I guess there's not a lot of people around here who go through this process. So they were just like having trouble figuring out how to do it, and they had to like relearn the system. So they did that, and they were like making fun of themselves and making fun of each other. They didn't make fun of me, but I joined in making fun of them. So that was kind of fun. I was like, you guys are hilarious. But that only took a little while, and it was a little awkward, but I managed to get through it. And I did it by myself, which I'm very proud of. I know it's been very hard for me recently to go and do these kind of things. So it was kind of nice. My parents were proud. My mom was really proud because I didn't have to drag her with me. So that was cool. And so I did that, and I took those to the courthouse and filed them, and now I just have to wait for my court hearing. And then name change is going to be official, which I cannot wait. And I told my parents today, which was really funny because, of course, it's Mother's Day, so happy Mother's Day to all you mothers out there. But I was over there with my family, which was like me, my two brothers, and my brother's fiance, and their horribly large amount of kids. They have so many kids. My brother has 2 kids, and then his fiance has 3 little girls. And I love them all. They're really precious. But I was over there with them, and it was funny because my mom messed up, or somebody messed up my name, and I always give them these glares. And so I give them the glare, and they're like, we're still getting used to it. I'm like, no, it's been 3 years. Stop it. But I was like, okay, you just wait until it's official, because once my name's legally changed, I'm just going to smack every one of you who doesn't get it right. Because after this long, there's no excuse. But I'm just kidding. Of course, I would never hit anybody. I don't believe in doing that. But it was just funny. And it was a lot of fun, actually. And I also, some good news was, I haven't really talked about my brother, but my brother, older brother, has had a little bit of a hard time getting used to my identity. And I never actually thought, like, I just assumed he's never gonna try. Like, he kept referring to me as his brother and my legal name, which I don't even want to get into. But he actually showed me today that he respects me, because we were talking about, which this might get into gender roles, and I know I don't really follow in like teaching kids specific gender roles, but my family is very, they just are like that. So but this conversation we were having was my niece. I was making fun of my brother because I was like, I can't wait till she gets a boyfriend and you have to deal with all this. And he was like, I don't even want to talk about that. And it went into my parents then saying like how, they're your kids and you'll always care and you'll always be involved and all this stuff. And then my brother was like, yeah, but you never had a little girl to like deal with that kind of stuff, because apparently little boys and little girls, have different things going on. So, he said that. And I didn't really take any offense or anything, because, he's right. They never had a little girl, because I was never a little girl in their eyes. So he said that, and then he like almost immediately turned to me and was like, and I, no offense, like, or anything. And I was like, oh, that's so sweet. But yeah, it was like, no offense. I mean, I understand, like, they didn't raise a little girl, so it's definitely different for them. I mean, my dad, I don't think my dad sees me as his little girl even now, even though they do it, everything the way they're supposed to. So it was really nice, because that was honestly the first time I've ever heard him call me Claire. And then he completely validated me, which is amazing. Now I have everybody on my side, even my little brother and everybody. It's great. So that was really nice, actually. That was a big one. I'm glad I remember to talk about it. So yeah, like fingerprints, name change coming, family, love, and acceptance, which is awesome. And it was just all around a pretty good week. Also, I am celebrating, which ended, unfortunately, but I made it 2 weeks without having any like really bad dysphoria, and I made it to the 2 weeks, and I don't know if talking about it triggered it, or actually I know what triggered it, but on the 2-week mark, they posted a video of us playing at this cafe last Monday, and I watched it. And sometimes when I watch like myself, especially on camera, I just like think I look absolutely horrible. And I just like saw myself and I just instantly sank. Like I just felt so dysphoric, and I just instantly started crying and feeling horrible. And it just went on for pretty much the whole day. I did go and I went to work, and work never makes it any better. It always makes it worse, of course. But after work I had a show, and the show wasn't really anything spectacular, but it got me out and around people, and so it kind of like took my mind off of it a little. Plus, when you're playing a show, and I know it's kind of weird for some people, they hate being hit on, and I kind of don't like being hit on, but in some ways it really helps. Like I got asked out last night, which the guy was actually really nice, and he wasn't disrespectful or anything, but I just told him I had a boyfriend and I'm not interested. But it helped. It made me feel a lot better. So we're back to now one day dysphoric, not dysphoria free. I will not say dysphoria free, because I'm pretty much never dysphoria free, but I'm not freaking out about it. So day 1, made it 2 weeks. That's pretty much the longest I've made it that I can remember. So let's see if I can top that. And that's about it for this one. So make another one here in a few days, and have a good week, everybody.